sound, an echo that seemed to come from the depths of the earth, and then turned, lumbering heavily back into the forest, leaving destruction but no further harm. Blair stood still, her hand still suspended, trying to understand what had just happened. Then her legs gave way. Cassian caught her before she fell. "What did you do?" he whispered, his golden eyes wide. I don't know." Absolute silence. Everyone was looking at her. It was Muriel who broke the silence, her voice trembling with awe. "She glowed! Did you see? She glowed like the moon." "Magic," someone whispered. "She calmed an ancient golem," another said reverently.
"Impossible," Maeve murmured, her green eyes wide. Tristan let out a low whistle. "Okay, that was officially the most insane thing I've ever seen, and I've seen a lot of insane things." Dahlia approached, watching Blair intently. The girl has power. True power. She looked at Cassian. Darius was right. She's not just human. The following hours were a blur of activity. The injured were treated, the destruction was cleaned up, and Blair was brought back to Cassian's cabin, where Dahlia and several others had gathered. "Explain exactly what you felt," Dahlia instructed, as she brewed some kind of herbal tea. Blair tried to find the words. "It was like there was something dormant inside me, and it suddenly woke up. It was hot, but not in a bad way, and it felt ancient, like it had been there forever, just waiting." Dahlia exchanged glances with Cassian. "Lineage awakening." "What does that mean?" Blair asked. "It means," Cassian explained, sitting down beside her, "that what Darius said was true. You have supernatural creature blood in you. It was dormant, but being brought to this time, a time where magic is stronger, more present, awakened it." "But my parents likely never knew," Dahlia interrupted gently. "Magic can skip generations, decades, centuries even. Your parents may be completely human, but somewhere in your lineage, there was someone like us." Blair felt dizzy. "So what, I'm part werewolf now?" "Not necessarily," Dahlia said. "There are many magical creatures, wolves, bears, felines, even older creatures that no longer have names. Until we find out more, we won't know your exact lineage." "But the golden glow," Tristan said, appearing in the doorway with fresh bandages around his leg. "I've seen that before. In the old records, it's related to the Guardians." "Guardians?" Blair repeated. "Ancient beings who could calm even the fiercest creatures. They were like mediators between different magical species. They kept the peace, but the lineage died out centuries ago. Or at least we thought it had. Until now," Cassian said softly, looking at Blair with an expression she couldn't decipher. "Ancient golems don't leave their deep forests without reason. Something or someone drew it here." "Darius," Cassian said, his voice darkening. "Likely, but why? He already knows about Blair. What does he gain by creating more chaos?" "Perhaps he wanted to test something, to see if she truly had power, to see how we would react. Or," Tristan added grimly, "to see if she would use that power. Because now that she has, now that everyone has seen, other packs will want to know about her," Cassian finished. "She's become a commodity." "A commodity?" Blair felt a chill. "Guardians were valuable," Tristan explained, his tone pragmatic. "They could calm territorial disputes, prevent wars, even heal injuries that normal magic couldn't. If you truly are descended from them, every pack in these lands will want you on their side. Or they'll want to eliminate her," Cassian added softly, "so no one else can have her advantage." The ensuing silence was heavy. "Great," Blair said, trying not to let her voice tremble. "I'm part magical creature, I have powers I can't control, and now I'm a target. Anything else good I should know?" Cassian placed his hand over hers. "You are under my protection. No one will touch you." "He's right," Tristan agreed. "You're one of us now, officially."
Blair was in the kitchen when she heard the sound of shouting coming from the camp's entrance. They weren't shouts of fear or alarm. They were shouts of indignation. "I don't care if you're giant wolves or whatever. Get your furry paws off me right now or I swear I'll..." Blair froze. That voice. She knew that voice. Impossible. Blair ran out of her cabin so fast she almost tripped over the dress Muriel had given her, her heart pounding wildly. And then she saw her. Jessica. Her roommate, her best friend, stood in the center of a dozen tense werewolves, her brown hair disheveled, makeup smudged, still wearing the same hot pink bomber jacket she'd had on at the museum, and wielding a stick like a sword. "Blair!" Jessica shrieked when their eyes met. "Blair, thank God! Tell these dog men that I'm not food!" Blair was so shocked all she could do was stand there, gaping. "You know this human?" Cassian asked, appearing at Blair's side. He was tense, ready to act, his eyes fixed on Jessica as if she were a threat. Yes, she's my friend. From my time." "Your time?" Jessica practically shrieked. "Blair, what the hell is going on? 1 minute I'm in my room, I touch that stupid souvenir, and then bam! I'm in the middle of a forest, surrounded by... Wait." She paused, really looking around for the first time. "Why is everyone wearing Renaissance clothes? Is this some kind of themed camp?" "Jessica?" she began. "And why," she pointed dramatically at Cassian, "is this ridiculously handsome man shirtless? Is that allowed? Are there rules?" Tristan let out a bark of laughter behind them. "I like her." "Jessica?" She tried again, slowly approaching. "Breathe. I can explain." "You can explain? Jessica, you disappeared. I called the police, your parents, the entire campus. I thought you were dead. And then I touched that cursed necklace and... Wait!" She paused, really looking at Blair now. "Why are you wearing a medieval dress?" "Because we time traveled. This is 1723. She stared at her, blinked, looked around at the camp, at the werewolves, back at Blair. "No," she said firmly. "Yes?" "No!" "Yes, Jessica. Blair, I love you, but have you gone crazy? Time travel isn't real. This is probably, I don't know, some weird psychological experiment or..." She stopped as one of the wolves behind her partially shifted his hand, claws extending. "Okay, what was that?" "Werewolves," Blair said simply. "They're werewolves." Jessica looked at the clawed hand, then at the wolf, then back at Blair, and then her eyes rolled back and she started to fall. Tristan caught her before she hit the ground, holding her easily with one arm. "Does she always faint like that?" he asked. "Only when she's overwhelmed," Blair sighed, which, to be fair, is pretty justified right now. When Jessica woke up, she was lying on the bed in Blair's cabin, with a damp cloth on her forehead. Blair was sitting beside her, along with Dahlia, and, to Jessica's dismay, a full circle of unfamiliar faces staring at her curiously. "Please tell me it was a dream," Jessica mumbled. "It wasn't a dream," Blair said gently. Jessica sat up so fast, the cloth flew off her face. "Werewolves! You brought me to a time full of werewolves." "Technically, you brought yourself." "Details, Blair." Jessica looked around at the gathered faces. Okay, rational thought, deep breaths." She took exaggerated breaths. "Okay, let's recap. When you disappeared, I was trying to figure out where you went, and then I bought that stupid souvenir, that necklace you were holding when you vanished. And then, last night, it started glowing. For real, like a flashlight beam. I thought it was shorting out, but when I tried to put it away, the light got brighter, and..." She made a broad gesture with her hands. "Suddenly, I was here, in the middle of the forest, surrounded by Hollywood-level werewolf cosplay." Blair blinked, surprised. "Last night?" "Yeah, why?" "Because that's exactly when my power awakened, when I fought the golem. The stone reacted. Maybe what I did activated it across all times." Jessica's eyes widened. "So your magic awakening pulled me along?" "I guess so." "Great," Jessica sighed theatrically. "First you discover superpowers, now I'm like the unwanted bonus feature of the spell." "Hey, you're alive, don't complain." "Alive, yes, but in 1723, surrounded by hot werewolves. That's too much information for my modern brain to process." Tristan, listening from the corner, mumbled with a grin. "She'll fit right in here." This is real. Werewolves are real. Time travel is real. I'm stuck in 1723 with my best friend, who apparently now wears dresses and makes friends with, she pointed at Cassian, who was leaning against the doorway with his arms crossed, with GQ Man over there. Tristan burst out laughing. GQ Man, I'm calling him that now. Cassian glared at him. His name is Cassian. He's the alpha of this pack. Alpha, of course. Obviously. Jessica shook her head. And let me guess, you're like in love with him now. Because, of course you are. This is exactly like those books you read. Blair felt her face flush. You're blushing. Oh my God, you are. Jessica pointed between Blair and Cassian. You two? Seriously? Can we focus? Cassian began. No, Mr. Sexy Alpha Werewolf Man. We cannot focus, because I came here with a mission. She turned to Blair. I came to take you home. The ensuing silence was heavy. How? Blair finally asked, her voice small. Jessica reached into her jacket pocket and pulled something out. The necklace. The veilstone glowed faintly in her hand. I brought it with me when I came. She looked at Blair with pleading eyes. Blair, you can take us back. Now! We can go home. Blair felt as if the ground had disappeared beneath her feet.
Home. She could go home. Back to her tiny apartment, her predictable life, where the biggest danger was forgetting an assignment. Back to where she belonged. Blair? Jessica asked, concern tinging her voice. You want to go home, right? Blair looked around, at Dahlia, who had been so kind to her, at Tristan, who made her laugh, at Muriel, who appeared in the doorway holding another child, her eyes wide with hope that Blair wouldn't leave, and at Cassian, whose expression was carefully blank, but his eyes were telling a different story. I don't know, Blair whispered. You don't know? Jessica practically shrieked. Blair, this is 1723. There's no internet, no Netflix, no indoor plumbing, and there are werewolves. Hey, Tristan protested. Werewolves are great. You don't have a face in this conversation, Mr. Werewolf Man. It's Tristan. I don't care. Jessica turned back to Blair. Blair, please. Your parents are worried. I'm worried. You can't just stay here. Why not? Blair heard herself asking. Blair felt tears pricking. Jessica continued. I get it. And hey, if you want to stay here playing Hunger Games Werewolf Edition, that's your choice. She took a deep breath. But I can't stop me from at least trying to convince you to return to civilization. I won't stop you. Good, because I'm very persuasive. Okay, can someone give me a tour? Because if I'm going to be stuck here trying to convince my best friend to return to civilization, I need to know what I'm working with. Tristan stepped forward, a wide grin on his face. I'd love to give you a tour. You're annoyingly handsome, too. Is there something in the water here? Werewolf genetics. Tristan winked. Of course it is. Jessica looked at Blair one last time. We'll talk more. Seriously. I know. And then Jessica was gone, swept away by Tristan, who was already chattering happily about the camp, leaving Blair alone with Cassian and a heavy silence. You want to go, Cassian said after a long moment. It wasn't a question. I don't know what I want, Blair admitted. He moved closer, and there was something vulnerable in his eyes she'd never seen before. If you had a choice, if you could freely choose without worries about what's right or safe or expected, what would you choose? Blair looked at him, at this man who had been cold and distant at first, but who had slowly opened up to her. I would choose to stay, she whispered. Something sparked in his eyes, hope. But I don't know if that's fair to Jessica, to my parents, to myself. How can I just abandon my entire life? Cassian said gently. You don't have to decide now. Your friend is here. You both have time to talk, to think. He hesitated. But, Blair, whatever you decide, I will